That's Bo. I did all of our intros in Japan. That guy needs to get called up.
Yeah.
All right,
like
Bo,
this
you
one.
fucked it up. Redo it.
Hello, everybody. This is Torrent, and we're ranking the guns for season 14. Here we go.
All right, baby. Let's.
Crossbow. Kate, you mean bow check? Come on now. The bow check, I would say, is pretty good. It's a crate weapon for a reason. I would say, I don't think it's like broken though.
Yeah, bow check in the crate like goes into like a specific category where it's kind of complicated because it's like it is strong, but in terms of being a crate weapon, it's kind of useless.
Yeah, my vibe is like killed when I open a crate and it's a bow check.
If it was like what the bow check was before they put it in the crate, it was probably S tier, but it's probably like B in the crate.
Yeah, I think like B right now. Yeah.
Tar SMG. I think this is gun.
Is like A tier, honestly.
Yeah, this gun is like forever A tier.
Yeah,
Just-
like close range, that gun is like just like, oh my god, one clip me in the mouth, like GG's.
And just like taking heavy and light ammo is so good for like gun economy. Next up, charge rifle. That's
oh
broken.
Oh my god, my pride and joy. My pride and joy.
Charge rifle's broken.
As someone who uses the charge rifle every chance I get, I can 100% say that gun is broken. I don't think it'll ever get nerfed because not a lot of people use it, but that thing is busted.
If it was any weaker than it would be useless because it's not like other snipers, right? Like Sentinel, Longbow, or whatever. Like you might be able to hip fire in a fight, but like if hip firing the charge rifle in a fight, it's just fucking useless. So you're basically, anytime you take a 3v3, you've just got one gun.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like any like hit scan sniper is just like busted. I mean, that's why I be having those 4K damage games, but we don't say that.
Devotion.
Honestly, I can't even remember the last time I used the Diva.
Probably like a C tier. I can't really. What is E tier? Maybe it's D tier then.
Devo is really only good if you have a turbo, and I never find turbos.
Also, I'm not gonna lie, Devo's one of those weapons that like is really good with aim assist, but kind of mid for mouse and keyboard players. So
yeah,
the EVA 8 is broken again.
Oh my god, EVA 8's broken. Gun is busted. I can't believe they brought it back to how it was like, what was it, like 3 seasons ago or whatever,
yeah.
2 seasons ago? Like that gun is literally a turret. It's a damn machine gun with shooting shotgun shells.
They seem to like not be capable of finding a happy medium with like the EVA 8, so I don't really know whether the best bet at this point would be to just like leave it broken or leave it useless, but as soon as they nerfed it last time, it just became dog shit. And now it's just before and after it's just an auto turret. It's an AA-12 from Marvel 2.
Flatline, I would say Flatline's A tier still. I think that gun probably has the best hip fire in the game.
Yeah, I agree.
And, like its DPS is just like nutty.
Flatline's just like a really good gun, but I can't really say I ever died to it. I feel like it was just absurdly overpowered and I couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
I think the biggest issue with Flatline used to be the headshot multiplier, and I think they brought that down a little bit, so I think it's in a pretty good spot. Havoc, these guns are complicated because with a turbocharger, Havoc is probably A tier. Without a turbocharger, Havoc is probably like C or B tier. It's definitely way better than the Devotion though.
Yeah. I think it's like probably B tier, but you like kind of have to have a turbo on it. So almost I would say it's almost like C tier, low key, because it's like it's almost difficult to find a turbo.
It's hard to say that's a C tier gun because C tier is probably where I'm about to stick the Hemlock.
Yeah, I was just already thinking that. I would stick Hemlock in C. Hemlock is like just rather use other guns.
Yeah, it's just that category of burst weapons. I really don't think Hemlock's bad. I think it's fine. I think there was a short period where the Hemlock was busted because they like buffed it massively and everyone was running it and it was like really annoying, and they nerfed it back down and it's like in a good spot, and it's just now one of those situations where fully auto guns are just typically better than burst rifles. Like it's just it is what it is. The fact that it's a burst weapon just immediately puts it in C tier.
Okay, Kraber, just go ahead and put that in the broken, get that gun out of the damn game. That thing is like a thorn in my side, and every player's thorn in their side.
They lowered the percent at which people get it, but honestly it's just made it more RNG because some people still pull up with the round 1 Kraber, and that is like so hard to play against. The Longbow. Honestly, I've always been pretty on the fence about the Longbow. There's times where it just feels like absolutely insane, and then there's times where it just feels like completely useless. If you want to use snipers, just run Vantage. Vantage's ult is better than the Longbow. So like the Longbow's just like kind of gross. just for the record, I think it's fine. It's just not insane. I don't want a game where everyone's just running snipers and you can't rotate.
Yeah, L-Star is not a good gun. Yeah, I'll probably put that.
I don't know. Fists like might be better than L-Star now.
No, I think the L-Star is. I'd rather have the L-Star than Fist, but yeah, E. Like the problem with the L-Star too is when it's on the ground, it only spawns with 20 shots, like right next to it. So when you pick it up, you have 20 shots, and it's like, it's just horrible. It's like it runs out. It's just like GG's.
The Mastiff is broken. We can just go ahead and move over L-Star because that gun's kind of lame.
Yeah, Mastiff def broken. Been 2-tapped by that thing. Probably like 100 times this season. Like, man.
I still think Mastiff is kind of ridiculous, like even in the crate. That's another one of those like 3v3 like game-changing kind of guns. You just get pumped for like 120 damage in a single shot, and it's almost like irrecoverable. Still, I'd rather, I don't know. I think I'd actually like it better off like on the ground and a little bit weaker, because the Mastiff is just like incredibly easy to use. I feel like I don't like the spread is just a horizontal line, whereas like the evade and the PK both have like circular spread patterns. If your horizontal aim is fine, like it's good to go. The Mozam is like B tier, honestly. Like I don't want to put it any lower simply because I don't want to give the impression that the Mozam should be any stronger. I think for what the Mozam is, it does its job perfectly.
I don't know if it's in like B tier though. That's kind of maybe.
Well, I said it's more like a C tier, but I want to put it in B tier just under the idea that it's a shotgun that doesn't need to be buffed. Like it just needs to be left how it is now. I'll put Mozam in C tier as long as we're recognizing that we don't want it to be any stronger than C tier.
Oh yeah, of course, of course. Alti, I think Alti is actually really good, but
I'm so biased to this gun because I fucking love it. I would stick that shit in A tier, no cap.
No, definitely not. Okay, I would honestly say. I would say Alti's honestly like B tier though.
Hear me out. It needs different. It needs different tier lists for 50/50s. I think the Alternator is one of the best 50/50 guns in the game.
100%.
It almost feels hard to miss the hipfire. So I mean that gun's just good. I'm a big fan.
P20 honestly probably could just give me my Fist. No, I mean I think it's probably E tier, but like.
I think it's probably E tier.
It's E tier. I'd rather have it than Fist, but that gun just sucks.
I think we're at the point in the game where I don't want to ever see my Fists in a fight unless it's. That's why I wanted to put the L-Star and Fists are better, because most of the time the L-Star I have 20 bullets, I let it rip, and then I'm using my Fists anyways. So it's like.
Yeah.
PK's A tier. It's just always been A tier because it's just I don't want to say consistent because you hit 8s, but the damage output is when you're hitting, and it's just always doing what it needs to do.
Prowler, I would say is like probably like B tier, like in between like C and B tier, but I would say like if you have it kitted, it's really good. Like the burst damage is really like, and the hip fire is pretty good. It would probably be A tier if it had full auto still, but I'd say it's like B tier right now. I would say R3 is like A tier for sure. I think that gun has just always been like so good for ever since the game has like come out, to be honest. Like that gun is just always so good.
I think it'll forever be A tier just because if you want to get into the conversation of recoil control, that gun straight up has zero effort. You don't have to do anything with this gun except point it and shoot it, and its damage output is like on par with everything else. So the fact that all you have to do is just point and click is makes it A tier every time.
Yeah, I'd say like R9's probably like, dude, I want to say like C tier. Honestly.
Yeah, R9's C tier.
I think that gun like sucks. I use it a lot because it's like a decent controller gun, and I'm pretty good with it. But that gun just like.
Well, I would definitely pick up the Havoc, the Prowler, and the Alternator over an R9, just for me personally.
Yeah.
The only time I like R9 is fully kitted and with a digi, because I feel like it becomes like a laser beam. Rampage is ass. That shit is like Rampage probably sucks, E, honestly. Maybe D. Yeah, no, it's better than P20. It's better than P20.
Yeah, I don't know. That gun sucks. Ari's probably like D.
Yeah, Ari's D. Ari's another gun though that off drop can be pretty good. Like it's better than getting a sniper or a P20 honestly. It's like okay.
30-30, probably like B tier, I'd say. I think it's really good actually right now. It's like in a really good spot. I don't think it's like too strong. It's not like too like weak. I think it's just like in a good spot.
I think Repeater is B tier, but like in general, but A tier in comp.
Yeah, I agree.
And then
it's like you get good with ammo and everything, yeah.
And then Scout is like a better version of the Repeater, so it's probably A tier by default.
Yeah, Scout's A tier right now for sure. Scout is really good right now. Sentinel, I'd probably say is like D tier. I think it's just like whatever. Like it's the only time you ever see people using Sentinel or like is just if they're trying to have fun. Like I can't tell you the last time I've actually seen somebody rip a Sentinel in like comp or anything.
Yeah, Sentinel's just a fun gun. It's like running an intervention in Apex.
Yeah, it's just like running like an old school sniper. Yeah.
Spitfire is like the most C tier weapon. I think C tier. I think Spitfire like defines the C tier. Like you can run it. It's not the end of the world. It's not like the gun is useless. But you're not you're not choosing to run a Spitfire over an R3 or a Flatline or a Repeater or a Havoc, or you're just simply not choosing your gun. This gun. You're just using it because. I don't want to rate the triple take because I do not fuck with that gun. I hate that gun.
I use the triple take a lot. I'd say that thing is like C tier probably. Like I think you can do like it's really good for poking and stuff. Like you're not gonna really kill anybody with it, but like you can piss someone off and like drain their meds and stuff with it. It's just kind of like a little poke gun. I don't know. It's like it's just average as hell. Like the triple take is just like the most average gun in the game. Like I would say like it's just there.
Okay, because the two categories that you like get here is like there's no reason you would ever run a triple take over a Repeater or a Scout, which does what the triple take does, just infinitely better. You would borderline take like the Scout is in a weird place because they made it a marksman instead of a sniper rifle. So like I don't see why you wouldn't just take a Longbow with like a 4 to 8 or whatever, and just have like additional range and like more consistent damage. You would just take any other AR over it. It's just like whatever. It's just not very good.
Volt is honestly broken.
Yeah, Volt's broken.
Especially for controller aim or controller players, like even MK players too, but like controller players, that gun like doesn't have like any recoil, like even without like attachments hardly, it feels like it just shreds. It's just so easy to control and aim. That gun is like just super strong.
I don't even know like what the balancing factor about the Volt is. Like a lot of these guns that you might consider strong have like some form of balancing factor, but like the Volt is just strong. It's got good hip fire. It's got no recoil on ADS. It's not like energy ammo is hard to find anymore. You find it pretty consistently. It doesn't need attachments. Like it's fine without attachments. Like they took the stabilizer and the laser sight off of the car, which made it like A tier versus broken. If you could put like a purple laser sight on the car and have like goated hip fire, it would probably be broken as well.
Wingman, I
don't know where this belongs.
I honestly think that gun is broken, but it's probably A tier since they changed the ammo type. Like I think back like in the last like few seasons before this one, I think it was like super broken.
Well, they nerfed it and gave it Skull Piercer back, and now you still get headshot for 100 damage. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, like people just were spamming Wingman. I mean, you don't really see people do that much, or at least it hasn't seemed like it this season since they switched to ammo type. But man, like before this season, everybody was just spamming Wingman. It was just getting so boring. It was like every gunfight you just go against like triple Wingman, and it was just like it's just stupid. But it's really good. It's like a really good gun, but it's just.
What's ironic about it is it like long ago when it was super broken, we used to call it a pocket sniper. And now it's literally a pocket sniper.
Yeah, actually,
so
it's like, yeah.
In terms of the overall tier list, like I'm pretty happy with like the tiers they're in. I mean, we could go through and like arrange them as to like what's best in each tier, but that's kind of unnecessary. Like all of the shotguns would move up a tier and all of the SMGs would move down a tier during like bubble phase because SMGs were just so fucking bad during Gibby meta. And like Prowler was probably better than a lot of SMGs in bubble fights just because like it works kind of like a shotgun. So like I mean the tiers just shift a little bit based on like comp meta and how comp is running. But this is just like pretty general. I just think this is pretty accurate for most players in the game.